It's fine.
Hello. It's freezing.
Welcome to another Orta Know Better. I'm joined by the lads tonight. Gilly's on the old controllers. Gilly, roll it there.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Welcome everyone to season 3, episode 2 of the Orta Know Better podcast. I'm joined by Gilly, Jay, and Smarty. How are you all getting on, lads?
I'm all right, mate. Now I've got a pint of rum.
Pint of rum, Jesus, heavy day, huh? I like the sound of that. We can't start the show without just asking Smarty what's going on with the haircut today, man. What's going on? What's going on?
I'm overdue on a haircut. I've been on holiday. But yeah, I had a bit of a Britney Spears moment and just thought, do you know what? Fuck it, just take it off. So I'm not a quick wanker anymore.
Good
man.
man.
They don't do Neutron anymore, do they?
There you go. Yeah, you need to come up with something original now, Jay.
How are you getting on, Gilly? All right, man?
Could be better, could be worse.
That's all right. Sound. Jay, you doing okay?
Hey, similar to Gilly, I suppose.
It's a lively old pod tonight, lads. Jesus Christ.
It's a new season, lad.
Yeah.
I know if we're off back of a heavy defeat, wouldn't it, where we're all sat here?
I'm all right. Me and Karl are all right. It's you two
I'm grand here, man.
That's what IT does to you, mate.
Yeah. Well, there's been some interesting results in the old predictions league this in the first week. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Gilly, and Gilly's going to fill us in on what's going on with the predictions league after the first week.
Yeah. So for those of you not aware, we did a little bit of an overhaul of the rules this time round, and we've kind of come up with a way that means that Karl can't avoid predicting, because anybody that's predicting gets fucking nothing. We've been in a position where actually we've brought in some additional people, and from a perspective of looking at other podcasts and so on. So we've Lou that joins us from LS11. We've Scotty Boy that joins us from his TV. We've Just Joe from the Just Joe podcast. And obviously we've got our side. He's been with us for a while, but he insists that he's actually going to make some predictions this year. Johnson falling off Leeds United. Plus,
where are you joining us from at this minute? Are you orbiting the Earth in a little fucking satellite or something? Your Wi-Fi is horrible.
I was going to say, I didn't know if it were mine at first.
I was questioning my own there for a second, to be fair.
If you were on Talk Show, they cut you off 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Actually, what's going on is I'm massively padding while trying to open the spreadsheet with all of the predictions in it. So I'm scrolling. I am scrolling through various different things. Have given up on that, and I'm just going to open up the the bits that I put into the group, just so that I've got them in front of me. So, obviously, we all know what the score was. Really, really, really funny is that Jason is currently 4 points behind the second bottom person in the league.
How's he done that already?
That as you mean to go on. So actually, from a perspective of point scoring, so it's always been, if you get the score absolutely spot on, 5 points. So that remains the same. Given that, stats, Smarty and Jay
come on
with 5 points. Boom. We then have a situation where if you get the difference in score right, so if you go 2-1 and it's 3-2, you get 3 points, which brings on Joe. So Joe is fourth on his own. And after that, we've got Bren, myself, Karl, Luke, Si, Scotty, Big Lou, and the fans, all with 2 points this time. Because if you get the right result, you get 2 points, not 1 point.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go against Leeds and Leeds win, it's always been -5 and it still is. But if you back the draw and Leeds win, it's now -2. And that's where Jason's ended up 4 points adrift from one game. And I'll just point out, he went for a Southampton win because he's on holiday and predicted in advance. So that's going to go well.
Si's happy. He's got a couple of points. He's off to a good start.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, Jason, starting as it means to go on. We all know how positive he is. He's like Jay from 2 seasons ago.
I've tried to tell people that being pessimistic will get you nowhere. Honestly.
Well, look who it is.
Hey, that goes on.
Short bit of
So there you go, Karl.
Snap forward these bits, Lindsay. You know that, don't you?
So there you go, Karl. I padded enough to get the scores in front of me. There's your rundown of the league. Back to you.
That's a professional, that Gilly. Just keep it going, mate.
Thing is, I've done all right for my first actual prediction. So, start as a mean to go on, I guess.
Just erase them shit ones you gave us last season.
I didn't give any last season.
It never happened.
No, you did. You
You
gave us the scum one and we got paggered.
Oh, there you go. So, maybe this season is different. So we'll go into the Wolves game. Just a quick chat, really. If you caught up on BNC with Gilly and Luke there on Sunday, wasn't it, Gilly? So, Gilly, just give us a quick rundown of what you thought of the game. I know you were on BNC, but you could just give us your little bit first.
As the only person here that already has, that's absolutely fine. Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
One of the bits, actually, for anybody that did listen, I wasn't able to see the first part of the game. I was otherwise engaged at my little boy's birthday party. But actually, on watching back, one of the big disappointments for me is that little twat out muscling our new hard man. What the fuck's that all about? What the fuck is that all about? That was wrong. But I think if you also look at the comments that have been made around, Mellier's got to be saving that. I think his Podence has completely mishit that and it's spooned in. I'm not going to give him a hard time over that, and he made some good saves afterwards. I think on balance, I think we well deserved it. I think if the bit that sticks out that we did talk about on the BNC around the penalty decision, Dermot Gallagher can get the fucking bin. He's been on Ref Watch today saying, "Oh no, that's never been given, and it shouldn't be given. And if that were given, then PJMOL need to come out and they need to state that that's now going to be given because they'll be given every week, and it's never been given." So you've got people that are ex-professionals sat in the studio listening to that, going, "But that's complete rubbish. It's absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
It's a stonewall penalty. It's a foul in the box that means a penalty. You cannot clean a player out and it not be a penalty."
You see Stephen Warnock's comments on that show?
Yeah.
Laid into him, didn't he? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, completely did. And he was saying, Warnock said, "I'd get booked. If I'm on that pitch, I get booked because I'm all over at ref for not giving that because that is a stonewall penalty." And he's absolutely right.
Well, I was actually able to get some signal inside the ground, and I messaged Barry.
Now we know you're lying.
I did. I'll show you the text. Barry was watching on TV.
I actually got them as well inside stadium, which was a bit of a weird thing. I get notifications on my phone.
But Barry was watching it on TV, and he was like, "It's a stonewall penalty all day long. Like, there's no way a keeper, like anywhere else on the pitch, if a player goes up like that and fouls another player, that's either a free kick and a booking or a second booking in any case, and a sending off." Like, so
I think Allison's had a couple of cheeky reds while she's been waiting for us to come on tonight.
All thumbs. Jay, you were at the game as well. What did you make of the performance, like from like obviously on TV it's different. Like you see a little bit more when you're in the ground. What was your opinion on the formation?
I thought it worked well, to be honest with you. I was pleasantly surprised. It looked like a different brand of football to what we got at the back end of last season. So there might just be something in that talk of survival football that we got from Jesse before. I mean, obviously, we played a crap team, and there was, I don't know, like the first part of the game, that goal went in and my heart sank, but immediately we were sort of back on them and it looked positive. And despite being 1 down, if that had happened last season, I would have just been like, oh, game's over now. But it didn't feel like that. And, you know, we got to half time with me saying to the lad I was with, if we don't win this game now, you know, and then we went back out for the second half and got absolutely dominated for 20 minutes. And I started thinking the worst again. Thought, what the fuck's gone on here? What's he said to him at half time?
Yeah,
you know, and then somehow we sort of got back into it. And I think the subs, the changes, Click coming on essentially was a big part of that, and it changed the game for us. It changed the pace of the game. It broke up what they were doing. It disrupted their game plan again, which was usually just rolling around. But yeah, overall, I couldn't fault it. We had that fight that we want to see, and we got a result in the end, and I'm very happy. There are obviously things that concern me a bit, like Christensen getting done over for that goal, but I'm going to put that down to him not being used to the pace of the game yet in the Premier League, and give him a pass on that one. Overall, we're happy.
Yeah, with that, the pace of the Premier League seemed to catch up with Rocca when he was substituted. He looked like he might have been running out of steam a little bit, Smarty. So the substitutes did come at the right time, like Jay was saying, and I was very impressed with when Greenwood came on as well. We're going to discuss other bits about it later, but Greenwood came on and he was quite good for a player that we assumed was going to be a striker. He's turned into a midfielder now, like so. You know, your opinion on the subs, Marty. Who do you think impressed you the most when they came on?
It's got to be Click, surely. Got to be Click. Completely turn the game around, did that lad. I mean, he's the epiphany of running through brick walls, and he would literally run, that lad, and that's exactly what we were missing with Rodrigo and Rocca.
The epiphany.
You are.
Do you mean the epitome?
That's what I meant, yeah.
Can't help yourself.
It's not just a podcast.
Can't help yourself.
It's a fucking English lesson, and all when Gilly's around. Fucking
leave him alone, or he'll shave the rest of his hair off.
It's a good job you don't have punctuation.
Yeah, it completely changed because, like Jay said, for a good 20 minutes in the second half, we were getting absolutely dominated on it, and it was only a matter of time probably before they'd have scored. So it was nice to see, and like I say, you know, with everything that's going around with the rumours of Click potentially moving on and leaving us, you know, that just must, you know, solidify anyone's qualms or anything to say, you know, we do actually need that lad. He's definitely part of the team. We need him going forward. Not that we've got, you know, loads of people. We can't let anyone leave at this stage, surely. You know, we need more, if anything. So to leave, you know, to let someone like Click potentially leave would be absolutely suicide. I don't think it's going to happen anyway, but, you know, whatever. But no, Greenwood looked good. I do like him for such a young lad as well. And you know, it's like a duck to water for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
it did look very natural for him to come on and play in that position. Yeah. Like it did. He didn't look uncomfortable in it at all.
So composed for a young kid. I mean, we say young kid. You know, you go back and you look at Milner and you know, and even Simon Johnson. You know, our very own. You know, when they were young lads, they were coming in and mixing it with Premier League players. You know, fully fledged ones. But you don't see it as much nowadays. And for obviously academy pros, not that he's been with us all that too long. But for an under 23s to come and shine and you know, hit the ground running like he has, you know, it's massive. And hopefully, you know, we'll be seeing more of the younger lads coming through. What's he laughing at?
Because you'd be mentioning Si, he'd be loving it.
It's probably your mistake that Gilly corrected.
But no, it was positive. I did shit myself after the first 5 minutes. I will be honest. I turned down. I was like, oh my god, what was happening? You know, after all the positive vibes that everyone's been giving me about, you know, the new season and shit, and we got 1-0 down 5 minutes in. Oh, fucking no.
There was a bit of It was out of nowhere, wasn't it? And there was a bit of oh no, not again feeling when it.
And it was such a fluky goal and all, wasn't it? It bounced up off pitch and literally went top bins and all like you jammy.
Well, when you look at the replay, Melia gets seriously close to it. Like that's how fluky it is. You know, he gets within centimeters of it. Like and frustrating.
Distance had been muscled away like it was though as well by that little shit.
Yeah, but that's a lesson learned for him. Like, you know, surely he won't be so quick to think he can get away with challenges like that. Anyway,
you will do. Well, yeah. I mean, it's his first game in Premier League. It's his first game in front of a big home crowd and stuff. You're gonna have jitters. I don't care who you are. You know, and Neto's a class player. You know, let's be honest. But I hope hopefully he won't be letting that happen too often.
Yeah, when you say he's a class player, does he get in your Leeds lineup?
Neto.
Yeah.
Would I have him?
Would you put him in first 11?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Neves?
Maybe.
In place of who?
Maybe, but it won't be an easy decision for me because I don't think he's significantly better than any of our players.
Well, until I see what Sinisterra's like.
Yeah,
probably him a minute because it's fucking half man, half biscuit, isn't it? New edition.
But he's not. It
fit right in, aren't they?
So you've Aronson and Harrison started on your.
Yeah,
I mean inside.
Aaronson's
right,
really a more central player, isn't it? We haven't really. There's no one like.
Yeah,
so
Sinisterra might start in his place and he might start in Rodrigo's place, but I'm not even convinced you can drop Rodrigo at the moment. But you've got three supporting a striker. And you've got Harrison, you've got Rodrigo, and you've got Aronson. Of those three, do you bring him in to replace any of them?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's Harrison.
Until Sinisterra actually shows us what he's capable of.
No, of those three.
Yeah. So
Sinisterra didn't start at the weekend, so who does Neto start in front of?
Nothing else. Aronson's not a right winger; he's a central midfielder, as is Rodrigo. But I won't have Rodrigo in first 11 anyway. I know he scored on Saturday, but he's fucking dross. The guy.
So just to come back to the point, who would you start Neto in front of?
On Saturday, Rodrigo.
In middle?
No, on wing, where he should be.
And what, you'd move Aronson inside?
Yes.
Right, okay, I'm with you. So I get that. That's fair.
I can't possibly say.
And you might start Sinisterra over him once we've seen him. I get that. Yeah. So that's fair.
I know.
I think I got into an argument as sometimes I do on Twitter.
Not that you go looking for him, is it?
This Wolves fan was absolutely gobsmacked that I wasn't going to go out of my way to fit Neto in my Leeds team. I don't think he gets in our starting 11. I really don't. But he would absolutely gobsmacked. It was like he just could not conceive of this idea that. And he thinks that they've got, on paper, a much better starting 11 than ours.
I mean,
I don't think that's the case.
No.
Well, they're not.
You have some shining light.
Seeing them. I enjoyed seeing them stood in absolute silence for long periods of that game. That were good fun.
Yeah.
Did you like him drinking Leeds United tears?
Oh,
that was fantastic.
Just like his
tried to delete it, but Twitter never forgets.
Absolute bedwetter.
Right,
I did delete it, and I did tweet him with it, just so that he could relive it.
I did as well.
Before you move us on, Karl, I just want to give a special mention to that poor lad who got a savage facial injury. Was it Hwang who went down?
Oh, yeah. Taken out.
Yeah, because I was worried about him.
It was vicious now, to be fair. And we were lucky to keep 11 men on the pitch, I'm not going to lie.
Unbelievable.
Evening, this is Karl. Thought we played well first half.
You're not going to try and attempt your second name there, Karl, no?
Well, when he said this is Karl, I thought he started pod again. Good evening, this is Karl.
We got confused.
And that's why I kind of stopped. Fuck it. As expected, they came back at us second half. Good chances, and we dominated again. 1 down. Just didn't think we would lose. Massive positive for me. Yeah, not losing is definitely a massive positive for me as well. And I think it's something to look into, maybe doing more often. Great timing on the subs. Right player in right positions. Who'd have thought that would work? Bremner's Ghost. Yeah, mad, isn't it? But mind you, we did have Stewart playing left back, so not every player in the right position. So, so we'll move on to the poll, and I will pass it over to a Smarty and Gilly.
You're not doing the video, Gilly.
Oh no, Gilly's forgot
typing.
Twitter poll results.
I'm going to hand this one over to Smarty.
It's a professional operation.
It's
I
great.
would type in the
chat. Each week we ask the listeners to choose the main subject for the pod via a poll on our Twitter account. So the 4 options this week was click or twist. Does click stay or go? Star spangled signings. Are the transfers done and dusted? Half price soggy kits. Will the new kits be here before Christmas? And tricky tickets, the new ticket system, and the general ticketing bollocks. With 35% of the vote is click or twist. So we've touched on it briefly, but I'll come to you, James. Do we see Click leaving in this window, or do we see him staying with us and hopefully fighting for a place in our starting 11?
I think there's a possibility of him leaving, but do I want him to leave? No. I'd probably have not been that bothered before Saturday if you asked me before that, because I were a bit like, oh, well, we're moving on now. We've got younger players who are better suited to the system, but it showed again how important it can be. So it was a timely reminder, to be fair. I think as somebody that you're not relying on week in, week out, because we saw how tired and knackered he got after sort of 3 seasons of constant non-stop football, I think using him more sparingly as and when needed is probably going to do us a lot more good than having him flogged to death every week as before. I think he came on and showed what he can do and what sort of the difference to his game to the guys we've got in there with Adams and Rocky. He does different things and he plays a different role, and I think we need that versatility.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's nice to see that the Adams he runs around like a bloody man possessed, doesn't he? And Click's very, very much the same. He was absolutely unplayable on his day back in the first couple of seasons when he got back into the Championship side.
Yeah.
What are your opinions, Karl? Do you think he'll stay? Do you think he'll go?
I think he should stay, but I think we need him to stay. But it's hard. Like he's got a World Cup, could potentially be his last World Cup. Now, in saying that, he was still playing for the national team in the Championship when he was playing regularly for us. So I don't know if being in the Premier League and a bit part player would still get him in. I think he's vital to keep around in the sense that we are losing the core of what was the promotion team, which obviously is always going to happen. But he's still only 32, like, so.
What do you mean only? You wrote off Ayling at 29.
Yeah, you said Ayling were over ill at 29. We were going to have to carry him to and from pitch after every game.
Dallas were on his Zimmer frame at 30, and Ayling were over the hill at 29. Yeah, what do you mean he's only 32?
Yeah, but that was you saying like they're playing all the time. I'm saying Click as a 32-year-old is still young enough to play a bit part role.
So isn't he one of them like little dog trolley things where you put the back legs in and run around?
Well, like, I can't imagine he'd need it, like, but maybe if we could club together and maybe get him one, like. But no, in all seriousness, though, like I think he's important player. He's an important player to have around the club. And I'd be honest, I'd miss his shithouse, and he was at it again on Saturday, holding the ball up and he just had the ball above his head, and he was giving people shit.
You were playing them at their own game, wasn't it? I love it. Shithousing them, wankers. Yeah. How do you like it?
Like, I think Tyler Adams has the capability to get on board with what Click does in the shithouse stakes, but at the moment he's not getting that crown off Click at the moment.
What do you think, Gilly? Do you think, or if anywhere, where do you think he would go, even if he did leave? Would he go? I don't think he'd go to another.
There's links back to 20, isn't there? I don't see him at another Premier League club. There's an outside chance that Forest will break the bank and give him £250,000 a week because he's better than Lingard. So I think there's that there's that element of this is certainly, I mean, almost certainly, but certainly, let's be honest, his last World Cup attempt. So I do understand him making a statement where he's saying he needs to play. I see him playing. He might not be a regular starter week in, week out, but he's going to play. And actually, if you look, Dallas is unavailable, and some of our other options have been moved on in midfield. Forshaw's made out of biscuit. I rate Forshaw, but he's made out of biscuit.
Yeah.
Shaq's gone.
Hobnob.
Bates gone.
Yeah.
So, fuck Hobnob. He's better than that.
This argument again.
The Metallica and biscuit.
The Metallica and biscuits.
So no,
Really that good.
For me, I think Jay. For me, no, but we're in this position where you look at, and I know what people might say when I say this, but you look at Alioski last season and the impact he could have had he been there, and he almost certainly would have played regularly. If you look at the amount of injuries we had and the impact that he could have, not just at left back, but further up the field as well. And the experience that had been lost out of the side, in Pablo going, in Berra going, and so on. Click's got the experience of being at Leeds. He's got the experience of playing in the Premier League now. And I get that he wants to play internationally, but I think he will play. And if you've got an issue where Adams or Rocker are unavailable, and let's be honest, that's going to happen pretty regularly with the amount of bookings that they're going to pick up this season. He's going to play football.
Yeah.
He's going to get his chances to play, like you say, definitely. Because who else do we turn to at the moment? He's the default guy.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, you've got 5 sub rule now as well, haven't you? You've got more subs to use. I mean, a couple of them did look like they'd properly run out of steam, like Karl said, in that game. So you're going to need to interchange your players. So you're probably going to get more squad rotation, definitely, like you've all said. So it's vital we keep all of it. It might even be his last season. It could be the last season we have Click. He might think, right, my time at Leeds has come to an end, and I might want to go home.
I'd hate for his last season to be out on loan, and then just to be gone.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll leave. I think he'll stay.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
But yeah,
he's probably just sort of playing his hand to try and get a bit more game time guaranteed.
And I appreciate that he wants to play football. They all do. Yeah. But yeah, I think Calvin's been sold. Shaq's gone on loan. Forshaw's made of biscuits. Dallas is injured. He's going to get his opportunities to play. So I think if he's realistic with himself, all right, he might not start every week. But as you touched on, Rocker kind of faded in the second half. Well, he didn't have a lot of football in his legs. You look at the amount of games he's played over the past couple of seasons while he's been at Bayern, and that's not actually impacting his ability as a player. When you look at the midfielders they've got, there's perfectly cromulent reasons for him not playing week in, week out. But he ain't. So he's going to take a bit of time to get up to speed with coming from Germany into a faster, more impactful league on physiology. So he's going to get plenty of opportunities as long as he keeps his a bit of a sensible head on. But that's kind of the bit that he doesn't have.
I just hope that if he is playing an awful lot of games, like you were saying, Gilly, where he's not played all that much, that it impacts his fitness, whether it bring on injuries or stuff like that. And then you'd kind of really need Click in there if that does happen. And I read somewhere there that we've got a recall on Bate if needs be from Oxford.
Yeah.
So, that's an option, but not particularly one.
Standard thing in any sort of loan agreement, in it, that they've got a recall.
No, I don't think they're
not always.
Not always.
No. So
we'd be bloody stupid not to, won't we? Christ, with our fucking reputation.
But this is the thing, we don't have it for Shaq, so we can't do that. So
what about Cresswell?
No, Cresswell's a full season as well. So
you can't recall him during a window as well, can't you?
Yeah, January. Yeah. So it's an option there, but I really don't want it to be an option. I'd rather just have Click there as he's the most senior player in the squad on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did
you see that Wolves fan that were moaning that their bench was made up of kids?
Yeah, talk to us about that.
Yeah.
And then somebody replied to him and said, actually, and listed our bench and all their ages, and they had something like 3 players that were at least in the 20s. We had like Click, who was 32, and then everyone else was like under 20 or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like some clubs think they have it hard, but then like you give the example, we had Archie Gray on the bench against Spurs and
Yeah.
how many teams last season? He was only 50. Couldn't even get changed in the same dressing room, for Christ's sake. Come on, that's
You
a
can't.
Yeah, I still can't.
Yeah.
All right, Jesus, there you go. So let's not complain about that, Wolves fans. Yeah,
Well, that concludes our poll, I think.
no bother.
Speaking
No bother.
I don't know who's popped that into chat, but
Yeah, how's that?
I'm going to go for Luke.
do we
How's that
vote?
one going?
Do the
No,
viewers
it's just
vote? Who knows?
It was me.
Was
it's
it you?
just good.
I like it.
That's what I was typing while you were waiting for me to play a video.
Right. Otherwise distracted. Right.
You know shit.
We
we can have our own opinion on it if you want. Next door.
Go on then.
Well, we'll go on to the next game. So anyway, Southampton away on Saturday. What are we doing then?
We're just saying we can have our opinion on this.
Okay, yeah, very quick poll then. Who has the best Leeds shirt for this? Yeah, I do, obviously. I've got no sponsor on mine, so it's definitely the best one. Like,
Yeah, but
Jesus
mine's
Christ.
alcohol.
yeah, but no sponsor.
Mine's
Always
gambling.
better.
Everyone loves gambling.
Gambling and alcohol.
Mine's
When the fun
promotion
stops.
winning season, so clearly it's me.
Actually, Smarty, you were the only one not mentioned in the comments. When
That's
I don't think
harsh
anyone.
dose of reality.
I mean, to be fair, yours is promotion winning. Mine's Champions League. Come on.
Oh.
Is it?
Mine's taking the Premier League by storm and getting 9th. The good days.
I think Karl's reminds me of Steve Morrison.
Fantastic.
That's harsh, man. Chris Wood was in this. So, or, you know, any number of
All the
players.
legends.
Any number of players.
Charlie Taylor, Chris Wood, Steve
Matt
Morris.
Viduka on mine.
No, Mark
Yeah,
Viduka,
Gilly's definitely got best one.
Yeah, definitely the best old school one, yeah. So anyway, onwards. Next game, Southampton away. Jay, what's going on? Are you going? Are you not going?
You tell me, Karl, seeing as you and I are meant to be going. But
Yeah,
you've started
oh,
making
yes.
noises about not going, so
Monday.
Oh yeah, man.
not going on
Yeah,
my own, mate. Cost me a
You
bottled
fortune.
it?
He's not
I
sure,
haven't
is
bottled
he?
it yet. Like,
Yet.
Yeah. You mean
But yeah, I'm hoping to go, I'll say. Expecting good things from Leeds down there. It's about time. And, you know, yeah, I've never been down there, so it'd be nice to go and experience that. I got to a few last season, places I'd not been, like Arsenal and Villa and that. They were good. So, yeah, hope for more of the same. And hopefully Leeds win this time.
yeah.
I don't think I've been to an away and seen us win yet. I think we drew 3-3.
You're the
with
reason
Villa.
why we can't win away.
That's
Well, no,
probably
because I've only been to like 4. I've only been to like 4 or 5, so
you were at
it's
City as well, weren't you?
definitely not down to me. We'll not talk about that. I blanked out of my memory. I certainly don't expect that to happen on Saturday.
No, you'd hope not.
Be interesting to see if Che Adams plays against us, I guess.
That was my next question. Yeah,
Is he? Fucking hell. Sure.
I don't want him.
I don't know. I
Sure
don't
not.
think he'd add anything really, would he?
I don't
like-
think he adds anything.
I
I
don't
don't think he's better than Joffrey.
I'd take him.
He's just back up to Bamford, isn't he? That's
Yeah,
what it
but
is. That's what it's all about.
Shouldn't Joffrey do that? I mean, I
Bamford's
know
out
the different
biscuit and
players,
all.
but
Yeah,
the fucking
it's all right
cheese
saying
things
shouldn't
and all.
Joffrey be that, but you know we've
They
talked
are
about
different
players being made out of biscuit. Paddy gets injured for any length of time. We only have. I mean, I know where Luke bangs on about Rodrigo and Greenwood as well, but really, from a striking perspective, from where we've seen people play, the only options that we have is Joffrey and Dan James. Now, Joffrey we can't rely on because can we load that amount of pressure on week in, week out on what is still just a kid? And Dan James can't score goals. So although he works hard and he does all of that bit that we do expect of him, he doesn't score goals. So for me, I think, you know, Che Adams is not going to come in and rip up the team sheet and put his name first on it and whatever else. But he is experienced to have on the bench and he's not expensive. Now, if you look at the money that we're going to spend on Charles de Kettle, you'd be able to get Shea Adams and Cali Muendo, or more coverage on your left-hand side and at left-back for the same amount of money that we were going to spend on De Kettle.
Mad that we were going to spend 18 million on Adams before.
18 million, I just bang out of order, but it's mooted around 9-10 million. And for me, that looks like there's a bit of value. Because you're not going to get much resale for him, but you're also not going to have a big outlay for him. I think it makes sense, to be honest. He's not going to come in and rip it all up.
Are you going to get much output out of him? Like, it's all right saying, it's not much money to spend, but why spend money at all if you're not going to get much back out of the player?
What do you mean?
The point is, what do you mean? The point is, if we lose Bamford,
output on the pitch.
What have we got?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I just think there's other options. Don't ask me who, because I ain't got a clue off the top of my head.
Well, so there's other options, but you don't have them.
Yeah, off the top of my head. Because I won't expect to talk about this.
That's why you're saying. That's why it's such a good option, to have someone that sort of valuation. And we know he's a fairly decent striker. Even Bielsa wanted him. That's got to ring some sort of truth. He's definitely worth a punt for 10 million. Fucking hell.
I mean, I do understand that. I mean,
bear in mind, Jack Clark just moved for that value to Sunderland.
People keep saying, get proven Premiership players, people with Premiership experience. There's a guy who's got that, and he's only 9 or 10 million, and he knows what he's doing in our league. And I do understand.
A decent player.
I do see that side of it.
He's also a Scottish international.
I'm not sure he does enough.
Not that stands for much.
But again, you're not going to get a prolific goal scorer for 9 or 10 million, are you? So
exactly.
I do see years ago we were all strumming one out, thinking, "Oh fucking hell, Shea Adams is class."
I never wanted him.
Oh well, you fucking wouldn't, would you?
That's because I've got the foresight.
You can't name anyone else.
I've got the foresight.
Right.
Not alternatives.
Look, to get off the Shea Adams scenario, do you think will Walker Peters be playing if he's on the move as well? Because I'd love it if he wasn't playing.
Yeah, I'd like it if he wasn't, but who knows?
Yeah. Because
who's he linked with?
He's linked with, is it Everton, I think? I want to say Everton.
Every fucker's linked with Everton. Jesus.
But I definitely saw he's linked with one or two Premier League
team in frigging Premier League, aren't they, Everton?
Yeah. Who did they get recently as well? They got some fucker recently.
They got Cody today on loan.
Yeah.
On loan?
Well,
that's why we're on against us.
Yeah. That's
what
mad.
Wolves doing? Someone said it's because he can't play in a back four.
Moving to a back four.
Surely he can't.
Yeah, I've heard that.
No, he can't. He's shite. And you've seen him for England.
Jesus. Yeah, but come on. Have you seen the rest of them for England? Fucking hell.
Harry Maguire.
No, yeah, he's one player that absolutely needs a luxury of two centre-halves. One either side of him, and he plays a sweeper. They make him look good, but he ain't that good. And I don't reckon that any club, at the end of this season, when he's been at Everton on loan and they've been relegated, there's no club goes in and buys him.
Oh, please. What I wouldn't give.
It'd be absolutely
and they must not sack Frank. I want him to suffer till the end.
Yeah, right until the end. But going back to Rabbit Hutch and his team, he looked awful stressed when they were losing on Saturday. Did anyone see the heading of him?
I did. No.
He looked like he shouldn't really be in the dugout. So
We're
hopefully we can add to that.
4-1 by Tottenham. I mean, Christ.
Well, I know, but it's nice to see the stress on him already. Yeah, but the stress on us, so that's okay,
Tottenham winning the league and all, apparently.
They've got Broja or whatever it's called now, have they?
If you listen to that Jamie old fucking dipstick on talk shite.
Spurs, all right, yeah. That's not happening at all.
Did you see the bet that he had with fucking
dog shit into your ears listening to that show, innit?
Did you see the bet he had with Gobby?
No.
It was to do with Arsenal and Spurs and who finishes higher. I think it was if Arsenal finish higher than Spurs, then Jamie has to wear an Arsenal shirt for 5 shows. But if Spurs finish higher than Arsenal, Gobby has to wear a Leeds shirt. I don't want him wearing a fucking Leeds shirt.
And the only reason they mentioned it is to get that sort of impact back. Because they only mention Leeds so regularly because they get a reaction, and it's about time we left it alone.
But obviously, I'd like to see him made to look an idiot. So, I mean, he does that well enough on his own.
He does that himself, mate. Christ alive.
Let's just see it, stoked up a bit more.
Yeah, fucking right. So yeah, no, look, I think we've after the result for Southampton on Saturday, I think we've as good a chance as anyone going down there and getting a positive result. I think, it's not a good place for us of late. Like, but like we were absolutely shocking down there last season. I know it was only a 1-0 defeat, like, but Jesus Christ, we were awful bad. But if we played the way we played there on Saturday and we pressed the way we were pressing, it definitely looked a lot more organised on Saturday than it did, say, even against Villa or Palace, which is I'm grateful for, to be honest. But I like to think we can get a positive result. What does everyone else think? Do you think like it can happen?
It's a real opportunity for us because of that defeat. Because if we can pen them in a bit for the first 20 minutes, the crowd are going to get on their backs, and that can only work in our favour. So we need to set out to try and make that happen. I think.
I don't think they will. I think the crowd understand that they're shit, and we're going to get outplayed most of this season. I think what I'd really, really like to see, and this is only on principle of the sort of area in the pitch he covers and the sort of role he does rather than seeing him man marking. But what I'd really like to see is Adams placed on Ward-Prowse. Just sit him on him, kick him every time he goes near the ball. Just kick him. He's the only person that influences their game enough to get a result out of anything. So
agreed. Yeah.
Just don't give him any time on ball. He's not a good player. So don't give free kicks around the box and don't give him any time on ball, and you win.
I was just going to say that that was their first goal last season at Ellen Road, was that free kick edge of the box. Yeah. So if we can,
and as soon as it were given, you think, well, fucking hell, this is up in top corner.
Yeah, you do.
It.
Yeah. That's the threat, but it's the only threat.
It's like it's nearly a penalty for them when he gets a ball around the 18-yard box. Like, you know what I mean?
And by the way, can I just mention? Did anybody even for the merest fraction of a second believe that Haaland wasn't scoring that penalty? I mean,
no. Is anyone here
fucking confident?
A fantasy football team that doesn't have Haaland? Who went Kane?
I had Kane.
What a wanker.
Only because I didn't have enough left in the bank to put him in. But I've actually they were similar but not quite. But this morning, actually, I went and used my free hit and took about 3 players out, put Haaland in and a couple of others.
Oh,
I'm making changes early this time, Karl. Now that I'm being reminded by Luke on Twitter of like how badly I've done, I can't just ignore it like I normally do.
It's pretty shameful, mate, that you're on a podcast and you're literally propping up the fucking table down there in 400 place or whatever.
I'm not at the bottom, so don't you worry about that.
What did everyone get points wise?
36. It was shocking.
I don't play the boring shite.
You don't play the boring shite. Is it because you?
We can leave Gilly out of this.
I think I got about 59, which is all right. I'll take that.
Decent.
Yeah.
I fucked up and put bloody Jesus as captain like a dipstick. I don't know why. I didn't realise that.
You listened to what I said on the last pod and you fucking idiot.
No, I didn't. I
don't even know who my captain is.
I picked Haaland anyway, so I was happy enough with that. But anyway, so we'll move on to predictions. Gilly, are you okay to type, or do you want me to take them down?
No, all good. It's fine. I'm all ready. Yeah, pushed it. No problem. So we'll start off with Smarty. In fact, hang on a minute. I was typing something else. We'll just
Orta no better predictions.
We'll just have that, and then we'll come to Smarty.
Better than the
machine, man. Fucking hell.
Go on, Smarty. What's happening?
I am going to go 2-1 Leeds United. I think we are going to stick it up them southern bastards.
Okay. Jay?
Oh, God, I'm stuck here.
Is it positive, Jay, this week?
2-0 Leeds.
2-0 Saints?
Leeds. Don't dare say that.
He'll catch you out later on next week later on in the week in the chat, Jay. He'll be like,
he will not get me with that,
won't you?
Absolutely not.
Go on, Karl. Let's have you.
I go 3-1 again.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Not you as well.
So we know Gilly's not it.
Yeah, Yeah, so 2-1, 2-0, 3-1, 3-1. And the one thing that I did say, because I was very unfair last time round, Alison and Marty went first with the predictions and I missed it and wrote down a different one. I think that they were actually first this time anyway, but Alison and Marty have gone 1-1. Yeah. So that's the fans' prediction this week. Bearing in mind, that is -2 if you back the draw and Leeds win. Which is fine because as the nominal winner of the Predictions League, other than the fans as a collective last season, I'm all right with the fans not doing so well.
Yeah, that's okay. I just don't want anyone to do as well as me, considering I'm predicting this season, so that's okay, you know.
It was just booted over the finest china.
It sounds like a restaurant or a hotel.
The boy knocked over a few bits and bobs here, so waking up. He didn't know where he was. Yeah, I wish he was. Seems to be the other way around a lot of the time. So we'll get the other predictions off everyone else, and we'll announce the old results next week on the pod. We have
get your toe out of his ass.
I can't hear him, you see, because
not another Spill podcast. This Karl, come on.
Jay was telling me last week, like that you could, or you were all telling me that you could hear him snoring and everything. I can't hear anything. Just for I'm not doing, sound. So yeah, we have been tweeting about a competition. I'm going to go to Jay to announce the winner, if that's all right.
What?
You have the winner, don't you?
I know was the winner, but I didn't know I was doing this. So you're going to have to give me a minute here, Karl, because you didn't tell me beforehand.
I thought that was the chat in the group, was it not? No?
Yeah, but I thought you as the host was supposed to be reading that out.
Also, when it says Jay, you'll announce the winner, yeah?
Oh. Mate, you'll have to give me a minute. Like I've told you.
Down 4-0 down to Preston. Get in. I tell you what we'll do then. Just I mean, to be fair enough. I was going to say, I've got a couple of bits to talk about in Orta Bitter if you want me to do that first while you get ready. But if you're ready to go, you're ready to go. Go for it.
Orta Bitter can finish it off, Gilly.
The winner of the competition for the giveaway for the sheet with all the team info and stuff on the season stats, I think it was. I'm going from my poor memory here because I'm totally perplexed. It is Jay.
I just gave you an offer of having 10 minutes to sort out what you're doing.
That's not going to help at this point. It's Jay
Them subscriber numbers are going down
Susenko. Like I'm not sure how you pronounce
Probably
it,
not.
but
Susenko, I think, something like that.
Susenko, I think. So well done to Jay Susenko, and we will sort that out with you afterwards.
Well done, Jay.
Congrats,
well
done,
mate. Thanks for that, Jay. So, Gilly, you said that you had a bit of Orta Bitter ranting to go off there. I'm quite interested to hear what this is now, I'm going to be honest.
I enjoy these.
Orta Bitter with Rachel Adedeji.
That bit at the end is brilliant.
So I do have a couple of things to cover. So, I mean, one, probably all of them maybe, but I mean, the first one, straight up, clock can fuck off. The moaning, whinging bastard. So apparently Liverpool's issue was the pitch was too dry. Fuck
at Fulham.
Yeah, pitch was too dry.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah.
Now, Fulham's response to this and the shithousery, the absolute elite shithousery of this was a picture of the pitch beforehand being watered. And I love that.
it were like Wilson level shithousery.
Yeah. So, Fulham are beige out there. They're nothing special. There shouldn't be a Premier League club. They're dead beige. They eat cake in stands. They can fuck off. But that did put them up a little bit in my estimation. As a follow-up to that, the Premier League can fuck off. So, in terms of TV schedule, football is for the fans is just gone as a principle, hasn't it? It doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't matter. The fans on a match day are irrelevant to the Premier League. They provide the atmosphere. There is, without the fans being the match day atmosphere, there isn't a spectacle. We saw what it was like during lockdown. For fuck's sake, they tried playing fucking fan noise over the fucking game. And yet, what we have as Leeds fans is we don't have a Saturday kickoff between now and November. Now, bear in mind, the November schedules haven't been announced yet. So the 5th of November, I think it is, might be our next Saturday kickoff, but it might get moved. And if it does, it's going to be beyond the World Cup. What the fuck is that all about? So the Premier League can get in the fucking bin. VAR can fuck off. I'm not having any of this fucking shit. So the VAR, PGMOL, Dermot, I'd already mentioned. And where the fuck is the recording that you told us that we were going to get after the fact so that we could actually hear the dialogue between the ref and the VAR official? They can fuck off because we've not even heard it yet. And nobody believes. I think out of the poll that I put on Twitter at the weekend, I just asked a question, and I can't remember what time it was, whether it was before or after the game, but I think it was when we were talking earlier. We're in a position now where 9% of people that responded to the poll thought that they might be transparent about it. Everybody else thought they'd either modify it or re-record it. So what's the fucking point? There's no transparency there. So VAR can get in the fucking bin and so can the FA. And Premier League clubs, including us, can also fuck off. A new deal for football is basically them just taking the entire football league and making a fucking mockery of it, and they're just going to buy youth players all over the place, bang them into EFL clubs, and then take them back if they look any decent and bin them off if they don't. We're all going to end up adopting the Chelsea system, so they can all fuck off as well.
Sad.
Do you feel better for that?
Just get it off your chest, really, man.
I do. I do feel a little bit better for that.
I've been wondering myself about that whole recording thing because when it first got announced and we were chatting about it in the group, we were all skeptical. And then it just seems to have been quietly brushed under the carpet since then because it's like, oh shit, what we're going to do? It's like, have they not managed to doctor a suitable clip to give us yet or what? Do you know what I mean? Are they waiting until they can get
pleasuring himself? Yeah, the reason why we won't get any recordings is because they're all a bunch of corrupt fucking wankers and they probably don't want you to listen to exactly what they're saying because
but
they
why
are
announce it?
Fucking wankers.
That's the thing. Like, why? Yeah, exactly, Jay. Why announce it if they're not going to do it? I think the way it should work, it should be that they have, say, up until the point where all the managers and everyone has finished doing their interviews and their press stuff, they should have it ready to go. All the decisions that were put to VAR.
If you're talking about what they should do, they should be transparent about it and not be bottleless bastards and just have it live like other sports can manage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
If you want transparency, make it live so that we can hear the process. Rugby league. I was saying this at the weekend. Rugby league. I'm a Rhinos fan. I'm listening. So there's a player gone over at Rhinos line. We're in this position where the referee is given an on-field try, but he's referred it up to be reviewed, and they're looking at the grounding. And the match officials working through, and you can hear the process. Is there anything here that allows me to be in a position to overturn the on-field decision? And so he's looking for a reason to go against the ref. And if he can't find one, he can't find one, and that's fine. Now, as a Rhinos fan, I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, well, he's just biased here. He was trying to give this try, doing his best to give this try. But the other way around is, if it's not given on the field, but it's still referred, the official that's looking at the video is then trying to overturn it the other way. So you can hear the process. And as a fan and as a spectacle, it doesn't take long. And what you hear is you have the benefit of the match official and the process they go through to make that decision. And rightly or wrongly afterwards, it's done with. You don't have all of that shit afterwards where we all wanted VAR to be in a position where it stopped the stupid decisions. But it introduced a factor of 5 more stupid decisions of is his fucking toenail offside. And has he smashed him in the face? Yeah, he has. But he's already touched the ball, so that's not a foul. Fuck off. There's no fucking point.
The thing is, they won't interject because they will make the referees that are calling the decisions on the field look like fucking idiots because pretty much every decision that they make is wrong.
But how is it that the rugby league referees can deal with that? And cricket officials can deal with that?
I have no idea. They do it in Australian football. Australian football, they literally do it live.
Fucking ego then. All it is ego that the referees can't deal with the fact that they're going to get a decision wrong. So what's the fucking point in having it in first place?
It's like that bellend that were on TV the other night that said that the Christensen want a penalty because, if we start giving them, then we're going to be giving them every week. Well, fucking so you should do. It's been taken out.
It'll soon stop.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember
It's a
when
penalty.
They won't
Do you
throw each other under the bus. They won't fucking say a word wrong against each other because then again, one of them will be sat in the studio making the calls and then they're going to fucking call them. So they don't want to make them look like a set of absolute fucking dickheads. And that's why it will never happen. Fuck VAR.
Do you remember when the rule was like for the handball stuff where it was like if it touched your hand at all, it was an handball regardless of what happened? And it was ridiculous, so they had to change it. But they were
against
giving
Liverpool.
them... Yeah.
So it was given against us, but then they changed it so that then Liverpool got away with it.
Exactly. But they were giving them every week at one point. If something happens and it's an infringement, you give the fucking foul, regardless where it is on the field. Yeah. And VAR was supposed to stop this shit where something that would get you booked in the middle of the park doesn't even get given in the box. You know what I mean?
There were another foul on Saturday, which was an absolute stonewall penalty against Brighton. Where I can't remember which scum defender it was, but it absolutely just fucking went straight through back.
Oh, yeah, I saw that as well.
That's a penalty.
Yeah,
it's a fucking penalty. He's just gone straight through back of him and bulled him all. Oh, no. What?
It's mental. And like as you were saying, Gilly, with the rugby one, it's like you might not agree with the end decision, but at least you know why they've made that decision.
Yeah.
And at least you've got that to come away with, and you can say to yourself, well, I disagree with him, but I get what he's saying. I see why he's said that. I don't agree with it, but I get where he's come from. Whereas now it's just shrouded in mystery. We ain't got a clue. And the amount of shit refs we've had over the years and bizarre decisions, it's very easy to default to thinking that we're getting screwed or fucked over again. So, come out and tell us, give us the live feed. What harm does it do to them? Other than if the ref insists he's not giving something, even if he's told he should. That's the other reason I can see why they won't do it.
It's so much better in Championship when we just used to rely on the idiots with flags and fucking, because at least then, they've got it wrong, but fair enough. They're not actually.
They don't have the benefit of a replay
in a room that aren't privy to all that fucking all the replays and all that sort of shit. Who are supposed to interject and say, "Oh, actually, mate, you've got that wrong. You might want to have a look at it." No, they'll just go, "Oh well, fuck it." And the rule where if it's not carded, but it's if they deem it a yellow card, but it's not been carded, they count over the rule referee as well. What the fuck's all that about?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's either wrong or it's not.
Yeah, see, my issue with it is as well,
and that can lead to suspensions for players with totting up, and you miss vital players then for stuff that shouldn't have happened.
Anyway,
sorry, Carl.
Just a point from Karl McMichael here. You missed Barcelona off that list, Gilly. Now, so last week. I had a go at Barca. Now, we didn't do it in the Orta bit, but I did have a go at Barca. Now, the developments most recently actually just make them even more of a banter club. So they've activated an additional lever that brings them additional finance. That's finance that has not been regarded by La Liga as new finance and therefore cannot be offset on their financial situation at the moment. They're not accepting that as additional money associated with being able to register the players. So they're still in a position where De Jong's still orphaned. What on earth is going on with his career? He's got no idea. They can't register the new players that they've purchased. And they're in a position where they're now going to have to pay tax on that new money that's not new money by La Liga standards.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So they're now financially worse off. And they've fucked off their sponsor that is their main source of income. So now they're just entirely worse off all ways round with actual no benefit to it because the only benefit they would have got, La Liga's turned down.
They would have had to pay 34.5 million in tax on that money as well. Which is, so they'd have been
capital gains.
Yeah, stupid. Like, but just to go back to the VAR thing just for 1 second. We all complain about the people at the top are dinosaurs and they need change and they need change. They're trying to update stuff, but they're doing it incredibly wrong. Like the thing they should be doing is potentially sitting down loads of ex-footballers that have only, like, I know it's a cliche, but like just off the top of my head, Shearer, Henry, players like that, play at the highest level and get them in, get them training referees on how to make calls properly when it comes to certain elements in the game if they're using
Same
VAR.
In the fucking VAR room for me.
That's what I'm saying, in the VAR room, like, get them in there.
Get them in there. So you've... not training them live. As part of the decision-making process, you've got three people. You've got two officials and you've got one ex-professional. And the one ex-professional adds up to the two officials that are not ex-professionals. And it's
Fair.
only if the two officials are against them that it goes into doubt. And if there's the player and an official that thinks one thing, that's the decision. And bring them into it, because we've got officials that haven't played the fucking game.
Yeah,
and what
that's
they
the
know
problem.
is they know the laws of the game, and that's fine. But how to implement them and how to read the game, we've got top-level officials. They've got fucking no clue what they're doing. And that much is obvious, because when you're in a match scenario and somebody's got to make a snap decision on having seen one thing once from one angle, we can deal with the mistakes. But when you've got umpteen different angles and fucking cameras that stand above it and can move around it as it's fucking happening, and they're still getting it bastard wrong, that's unforgivable. They can fuck off, bastards.
Yeah, no. I think
if the football
I'm trying to get off my soapbox now.
were to have a vote, it would be unanimously in favour of fucking VAR off, 100%.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think as well, back to a point I made a couple of maybe last season, where why not rotate all the referees in the top divisions around Europe and just rotate them around the top leagues? So one week we have German officials reffing in the Premier League, and the English officials go to France, and the French officials go to Spain.
Not very environmentally friendly of you, Karl.
Well, look, don't get me started on that.
This is his pet
right?
project, rotational refs.
But I think that's the only way to stop, because it comes across as he actually has got a cut, Mark.
No, I need it.
Yeah, all right, yeah, okay. But I think, because you're always going to get favoritism with referees with certain teams. Who was the ref that was out in a Newcastle jersey the night after reffing our game or something like that, or reffing a game where his team needed, you wouldn't get that by rotating referees from different countries, I think, anyway. But I don't care.
I think unanimously you're getting told to fuck off, Karl, if I'm totally honest. That's
all right.
It's a terrible idea.
I don't care. But look at it this way. Howard Webb. We gave Howard Webb stick for being Fergie's love child for how long? Eliminate that possibility. Eliminate it. Fuck it off. Rotate it. I was going to, yeah.
We've already had one of them tonight. We don't need another.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody had noticed mine, but we'll move on.
I noticed.
So Karl asked, does anybody know what happens if they can't register these players? Where do we stand with RAF officially? So I don't think there is actually an official line, but in terms of commercials and the agreements and asset management and so on, I think from a position of ownership of asset, that doesn't reflect on the capability to register a player. You can own an asset without registering it as a player. So RAF is owned by Barca because we've agreed that transfer. Now they've failed to make their payments, in which we had inbuilt an agreement that if they didn't pay by a certain date, that fee would then increase. I equated that to banning somebody that drives without insurance or a license.
Exactly.
They're not going to take any notice of it. But the argument now is not 48 or whatever it was, it's 58 or whatever it was, and that's the scenario that we're in. Everywhere. But that can go to CAS, and it can go to independent arbiters, and it can be looked at. And we had it written in that we were going to be talking about an increased amount of financial compens back to us for the player on the principle of that. But if you look at the situation that we had with Augustin, and the fact that we as part of the agreement, we said, we relinquish any right to the player. So and like the same. So we're in that position where neither club can claim ownership of that player. So Barca can claim ownership of a player, even though they've not paid for him, because he's listed on their books, even though he's not eligible to play. So that's the scenario that we find ourselves in. We've got no claim to that player, except if we go to CAS and they say, well, if you're not going to give the money for the player, you need to give the player back. I don't think that that's something that we want to enter into, given that Raf was so keen on going and playing for them. It's hardly going to be that he's going to come back and be his best self, is it?
Yeah, but on the other hand, that's not Leeds' fault. Leeds tried to accommodate him.
No, absolutely not.
Move, so you never know. I mean, is there a scenario where the player ends up becoming a free agent and we have to chase Barca for money and we don't have the player either? Or does it become a case of they own his registration, they just can't register the registration? So
that's where we are now.
He just ends up in a limbo.
He's in limbo, yeah.
And we're chasing.
He's not the only one.
And he can't play for anyone else. Is that where it would go?
Yeah.
Well, they've not actually paid us any money yet. That comes at 1st of September, doesn't it? So if they don't pony up, then that's them in deep shit.
Yeah, but it's only them in deep shit as much as the failed payment for fucking Coutinho that's been outstanding for 2 years.
Oh yeah.
And it's like Gilly says, it's like
for him.
Putting points on the license for somebody who doesn't have a license. You know, somebody who's driving without a license, you give them points. Oh, you can't drive anymore. You've got 12 points.
I think it's going to get a little bit more serious now, though. It's absolutely worldwide that Barca are absolutely fucked in it. You know, when the Coutinho
still
thing,
chasing players.
It is now.
The thing that I really worry about that is the more fucked up they get, and let's be honest, they're truly fucked as a club. Truly fucked. They've got no ability to get out of it on their own now, is my firm belief. Which makes it that they'll be all the more desperate to drive the ESL shit.
Yeah, but they will. La Liga
will fully see that coming back.
Well, La Liga without Barcelona is nothing, is it? Let's be honest. You've got Real Madrid, and that's maybe a couple of others, Atletico Madrid, and all that sort of stuff. But without Barcelona, fucking hell.
Is El Clasico gone? Will they let El Clasico not exist anymore? Well, absolutely not. El Clasico will always exist, and La Liga and FIFA and UEFA will do whatever it is that they need in order to retain them. And if that's driving through the ESL, I firmly believe that that's what the outcome will be. That's what they wanted.
But,
it looks like Scummer in for Gakpo anyway.
I said I was going to get off my soapbox, and then you've put me firmly back on it.
Well, they're not in for Arnautovic anymore. Shock.
Yeah, apparently that's because the fans started crying.
Instead.
Yeah, they're
Are you surprised? I'd be fucking devastated if we went in for Arnautovic.
Anyway, don't start him off.
Don't start him off. Look, I'd like to say, has anyone else got anything else to say before we finish? But Gilly's just got off his soapbox, so we'll not go back on it.
I do have one thing that I think is important to say, Karl.
Yes, Jay.
Being serious for a minute, I just want to mention that the club put a tweet out just saying rest in peace to Mick Jones. So I'd just like to sort of send condolences from Orta No Better to his family and friends and everyone that knew him and were associated with him in the club. Rest in peace, mate.
All right, nice one. And on that note, lads, I bid you a good evening.
Good night, all.
Gilly, take it easy.